Okay, hi, I am Ash May. I teach Mind to Tell with my friend Kathy West. And we are here today to talk about something that comes up quite a bit in our writing classes, and rightly so. It is the question about how do I write about grief or anger or sadness or emotions that are really, really difficult and potentially could um, hurt people around us or bring up difficult emotions when we perceive an audience listening or reading this writing that we've done. But we still know that writing through these difficult emotions are really, really important and oftentimes at the crux of your story and what needs to be written. So how do we approach writing about really difficult emotions?
Yeah, I personally have had to kind of face this question. My father passed away 5 months ago, and because I write, because that's how I deal with things, that was the immediate impulse. I was just like, I need to write something. And he had some creative projects that he wanted to make that he didn't get a chance to, and so like that added a sort of layer to it. Like, I'm going to write the things he wasn't able to make and somehow like put them into the world. And so I had this instant impulse, like while I was still reeling from what had happened, like, I'm going to write a book. And I had such a hard time trying to figure out how to come at this book because I was picturing other people reading it and would it do my dad justice and my grief justice, and like it ended up being such a multi-layered thing that it's actually still a blank document right now. I couldn't do it. I couldn't find my way into it. And what I realized I needed to do was write some other things that were just for me. And I had actually taken notes for myself, little notes that I knew I would want at some point along sort of kind of the last few months of his process. And I went and I took those notes and I started just writing, just really not that great stuff, but just writing everything, all of the details that didn't matter, that didn't add up to like a beautiful, like meaningful, poignant moment, just everything, like what I could remember about it, what I thought about it, things that I would edit out if this were a book. But I just wrote my way through them. And I'm still kind of writing my way through them, actually. And feeling like I could get everything on the page and not be responsible for whether or not that like worked in a story was really important for my process. And I feel like I'm getting to the point where I may be able to actually start writing that book. That impulse is still there, and I think I'll follow it. But I didn't hold myself accountable to writing it before I had done the work that I needed to do just for myself to be in a space where I could.
Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So that is the exercise that we want to offer you today, is whatever that difficult thing is, to not to not ignore it if that's the thing that's calling to be written, but to also write through that thing without any audience, with knowing fully that the thing that you are writing is only for you, and that it is for an audience of one, and that if at some point it's right to be written in another capacity, that's great, it will be ready. But for now, writing through these emotions, especially initially and when they are fresh, sometimes it's the best place is not to put them directly in front of another audience where you will also have to kind of be the relayer of a lot of other emotions that come up because of that. So give credence to the emotion, to the anger, the sadness, the grief, the whatever is really hard, and let that be kind of the star of the show and not the emotions of having to navigate other expectations of that.
And I've been amazed at how that has come up as we've moved through the writing classes that we teach, that in the beginning, a lot of these emotions come up, and then what they're able to be revised into later with some time and some distance is something really beautiful. And some of it, is never revised. Like you don't have to keep this piece of writing. You can write it out and let it go if you don't want to keep it. It's your writing, so you get to be in charge of that.
Yes.
So we'll leave you with a thought written by Anne Frank. She said, "I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear. My courage is reborn." And I think that writing can definitely do that for us, that we can let those sorrows go on the page and kind of renew our courage by thinking through it. So go write. Your story is yours to tell.
Yes. Thank you. And we will see you again soon.